Today we are looking at freeform crochet. It basically means crocheting a surface without any rules. You just change colors and stitches and forms and shapes whatever way comes to your mind. It's also a great way to learn more crochet after you know the basics, because it helps you see all those things, that how many stitches I need for here, or how does this work if I put that there, or so. I have been doing this actually since my teens. Most of the time I mix knitting and crochet, but today I have only been doing crochet. Freeform crochet is a lot of fun. I have really enjoyed making this today. The first thing to do is to decide your color scheme and decide what yarns you are going to use. All these here are approximately the same weight, and that makes it easier to work with, especially if you have never done this before, because if some of the yarns would be, say, 3 times as thick as one, then you have to think more to get the result even. One thing you have to take into account is that the washing instructions for the different yarns are not too different, because you need to wash the item using the instructions of the most delicate yarn. So if you have one that cannot be washed in the machine, then obviously you can't wash the whole thing in the machine at all. I also prefer to work so that I use the same crochet hook for all of it. And here I have selected my favorite one in size 4mm. There's a link to these hooks in the description. This type of work, of course, is ideal for using up scrap yarn. So some of these are very small, but it's a great way to use them up. You can, of course, also use different types of yarns here and there, like this here furry novelty yarn. But right now I don't think I'm going to use it. I just showed that as an example. So I'm going to start. I will probably add more yarn later on, but this is what I'm going to start with. And I have no plan at the moment. I will make one piece and then decide what to do next and next and next. Let's start. And it's important to say that this video is not a step-by-step tutorial. I'm giving you pointers as to how to work with this. I started with a small piece in pink. I chained about 20 and then did 2 rows of double crochets. And I'm actually cutting that there now. And then I'll take another yarn. And when you are at this stage, then you just have to look at it and decide what you're going to do next and where you start. So you can either start crocheting something directly to this piece or make something separately and then crochet them together. I'm starting with this here now, and I think I'm going to do loops round half of it. So I start about the middle, and normally I always take the 2 ends and pull them both through first so that it becomes sturdier. And now I'll make loops, chain loops. Would 4 be, no, 5 maybe, 6. I'll chain 6 and skip 1 and single crochet there, then again 6, skip 1. So I'm going to show some of what I'm doing, of course not in detail. And now I'm coming close to the corner, so I'm going to do a stitch in the corner. It's going like this, and 2 loops at the end here, 6, attaching it there. So the great thing about this is that everything is right. Although if you prefer it to stay flat, then you of course do have to think about the number of stitches so that it does stay flat. So I'll continue until here with these loops, and then we'll see what we'll be doing like that. And now I decided that I'll do trebles here. So I chain 4 treble using the American term, so it has 2 yarn overs into every second stitch. Chain 1 and into every second stitch here, skip one and another one. So this is something you need to be thinking of, that if you skip something, is it supposed to stay flat or decrease? So here it's staying flat because I chain as many as I skip. Now that's just into the corner there. And now I'll go that way. I'm chaining 3 and then starting to do double crochets without chains in between. And every time when it's possible, leave all these ends inside stitches so you have less work at the end in weaving anything in. One more in the corner. Okay, there's something there. And then I'll change the color and start going this way upwards here. I took the yellow and I attach it in here. I'll do just some single crochets there and leave both of these ends in there. So I'll do single crochets until there and continue here with some single crochets back and forth. So I chained one and turned, and then a few rows of single crochets just back and forth here. There. And then I think I'm continuing using the yellow for a while and attaching them here. Chaining 1. This is quite far there, so I need a treble and attach it to that loop. And chain, how much space is there? There is just one. So another one. Like that there, and then one in there. No, yeah, another one in that same loop to get the sort of a corner. So here we are now. Next I'm taking this slightly variegated bluish yarn, and I think I'll go back and forth here for a while using my favorite stitch, which is the V stitch. So, by the way, I'm linking here, if I'm talking about a specific stitch, I'm also linking it so you can see how to do the actual stitch. Chaining 4 and then starting the V stitch. Skipping just 1, so I'm ending up on top of that. Like that, so I'll do a few rows of the V stitch. But I think I'll change color in between so that I will have some of the pink in there as well. So here now 5 rows of V stitches, and then I continue this way again. Soon I'll need to do something round here, it's getting too square. But before that I'll first do 2 rows of double crochets, but I'll continue it from here. So when I get here I'll show how I'm going to increase at the end of the row directly without chains. And then after that I'll do bobble stitches in different colors here. So now I crocheted this here on the side of it, and now I'll continue just without chains. So a double crochet starting in here, but instead of an ordinary double crochet I'll make a chain first. So when you're at this stage, yarn over through just 1 so it makes a chain, and then finish off the double crochet. And another one, put it into that stitch we just made, again here and like this. So that way you can crochet into the air, to speak. So I'll continue this a bit longer and then go back and then make bobbles on the next row. So here, and I'm chaining one and turning, and then I'll be making pink bobble stitches in here. And if you remember, bobble stitches are done on the wrong side row, so they turn. When I make them on this side, they end up on that side. And the way I'm going to do this, that the base will be green and the bubbles will be pink. So I'm holding on to the pink thread here so that I'll put it inside the stitches. And bubbles are done on a single crochet row, so I'll make a few single crochets first. Say 4. And then I pull the yarn forward so it stays on this side and make a bobble in the next stitch. That means that you start 5 double crochets but don't finish them off until you have all 5. 3, 4, 5. And then again already here change the yarn and take the green one and pull yarn over through all of them. There. So that's it there. Then I again leave the pink yarn inside the stitches and make a few single crochets in between. Does 3 look best or 4? I think 4. And then I'll do that until the end here. If you are enjoying this tutorial, please subscribe and hit the like button. Here, I love to have different colors of bobbles compared to the background. And then I'll do 2 more rows of double crochet in here. And have to remember then to put 1 stitch also behind the bobble there. And then I think after that, I'll make a small round or something and put that somewhere. I made this very basic circle starting with 10 double crochets here, and then I'll do some surface crochet on it. So I have the yarn at the back and just slip stitches through each thing here. And then I'm attaching it to the actual thing, just using slip stitches again. I need to get rid of some of the yarn ends in between here too much. So just a slip stitch and then a few slip stitches or single crochets to get to another spot where it's good to attach it. And with these here, you always need to set it next to where you are attaching something to make sure that you aren't pulling or it isn't puckering the way you attach something. So let's see here. Yes, it's the right distance. And then I'll do 1 more space to attach it. Let's see now. Here. There. And no, 1 more. Attached it there as well. So that's one thing done, and then to the next. Next I take a color that I haven't used yet and I'll make an area where I'll have loops back and forth for a while. A loop area in here. There. These are all loops of 3 chains and with 4 when I turn. And next I'm going to start in this here corner, going sort of across the corner with stitches. I attached it there, and to get the corner I chain 1 and go into that corner and chain 1 and attach it on the other side, and then keep going like that. So then I go up a bit with slip stitches and then double crochets across there, always chaining 1. With these corners you sort of really have to look that you don't make it so that it sort of bulges out to have too many stitches. I think this is enough when I just then attach it there. And this actually I'll finish it here now that I came to that there corner. It looks like that there. And because I like all sorts of 3-dimensional stitches, I'm going to continue with this same blue yarn back and forth, not all the way there, but a bit here, doing front and back post stitches. So first 1 row of double crochet, and then I'll show what I'll do after that. So I did that there a bit, and then in the next row after I turned, I'll alternate front and back post double crochet. So first I do a front post one under that, and then the next one will be back post, so you put it behind that. So this makes a sort of a very 3-dimensional type of a stitch, alternating back and front post. And then when I turn, I do it the other way around. So where I see a front post, I do a back post, and the other way around. So now I'm on the next row, and when it gets like this here, that is sort of on top, then I'll do a back post. And then again, when there's this here ridge, then I'll do a front post, and so on, alternating. So I'll do a bit more of this, and then I need something round. So then after this, that will be the next thing to do. I have continued to work on it a bit. After that back and front post, after the previous bit, I made these here half circles round it. They are trebles with a chain in between. And in here you see the way you can work in freeform is that when you need to fill something in, you make longer and longer stitches. So here I have double crochets, then trebles, and then double trebles to fill in. This here is like ribbing single crochets where you always only take the back loop. And then I did lots of loops with chaining 3 all around here, filling in that there area. And another circle. So again I made the circle first and then attached it here using double crochets. Next I'm filling in this here gap using another technique, just chains from here to there, zigzagging a chain in there. I attached it there, and in places like this you need to see how many chains you need so that it doesn't stretch. And seeing how it will be best more, and then seeing how it will need at least 1 chain more there. And like this, so you go from one side to the other, like that there. And now here's a corner where I can again do something different. This here is all what I'm going to now work for this here video. I trust that you've got ideas of how to combine all sorts of colors and shapes and stitches and the general idea of how you can work. Because as I said in the beginning, there are no rules. So just do whatever comes to mind. I'm going to make this into a cushion cover, and when it's finished I will post it on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram yet, make sure you do. I have the link in the description, as well as links to many of the techniques I have used here. any that I have a separate tutorial for. So enjoy using your creativity in freeform crochet. And check out also this here crochet tutorial.